Hello there. Thank you very much for taking the time to do this confirmation retreat at home. We're preparing to do this in person with many of the students preparing for confirmation. But for whatever reason, you're doing it at home. That's absolutely all right. I want you to feel comfortable knowing that everything will work out, and we're glad that you have this experience. Uh, what I'm going to ask you to do is very simple. We've created this web page, and you'll just go down section by section and watch the videos and follow the instructions of each of the videos and the written material that's written there afterwards. And that'll walk you through the same steps that we're going to take in person for the confirmation retreat. Um, it's on prayer. That's going to be the subject that we follow for this confirmation retreat. And I would bet that many parents, if you're watching this, you would find and get as much out of it as many of your children will. It's very useful information. And since it's independently based on what individuals put into it, you might get a lot out of it as well. So for our students, you might think, well, I don't always know about prayer. I don't get it, or how do I spend this much time doing that? I'm with you. I understand. It's a long journey to understand how to pray well and how to get the most out of it. But it's a perfect time to start. I actually remember my seventh grade retreat. And I'm a person who's been on hundreds of retreats by now, and I really love them. They really help me grow, and people that I'm close to help them grow as well. So this is your first retreat, and I hope that you remember it and take some things away from it that'll be part of your life. I'll tell you the one thing that I remember the most from my confirmation retreat in seventh grade. I remember there was this nun, and she too was teaching us different ways of praying. And she said, prayer doesn't have to be complex. It can be as simple as taking your finger and your thumb, just making a sign of the cross. So I'm doing that right now. I'd ask you to do that as well. Just do this and do it, 20 times, maybe 30 times, however many. But just that physical activity, it's something you can do while you're standing on the street waiting. You can pray without having to recite a bunch of words or a lot of activity. Just a simple activity with your fingers can be a reminder to you about God's presence and God's love for you. We're going to practice that in the in-person retreat, and I invite you to do it as well. If some of the videos don't connect with you, or you're struggling, just take your fingers and make a sign of the cross. But I do think all the videos that are presented in this will give you some new insight and some new experiences to prayer. And as you build on those, you'll find that these are gifts that you can have in your life and use them to be able to gain a sense of peace, gain a sense of confidence, and really grow in your faith by practicing. One last thought that I'll leave you with, and then I'll invite you to start following the webpage. One of the hardest things I think to get around as we grow up is understanding that prayer is not magic. I'm going to talk about that a lot in person with everyone. You may think you're not getting a lot of prayer because, well, I prayed and I didn't get what I want. See, that's magic. That's when you see in movies and these ideas that somebody says some magic words and they get what they want. That's not prayer. That's not the way God works. God does give us what I want, but he gives us spiritual gifts, not physical gifts. So, for example, if I'm having a tough time and I pray for, to get even with that guy, or I hope she doesn't win. Well, first of all, we should never pray that way. We should never wish anybody harm. But that's not how God works. It doesn't do physical things like that or material things like that. We can pray for things like spiritual gifts such as wisdom or knowledge or patience or understanding. So we can say, I'm really struggling with this guy. I ask for the wisdom to know how to get along with him. See, that's a prayer that God can answer. And it's not magic. It's something that through our encounter with prayer and with God, it transforms us. Same thing, I'm praying for acceptance. Maybe that girl's better than me at that sport or at that test, and maybe I need to pray for my own motivation to improve, and especially pray to overcome jealousy. Those are all spiritual gifts, and those are things that we can pray for. So I hope that little reflection helps kind of shake up your insight a little bit to know that maybe the way that you've been praying, they're good and they've been helpful. But now that you're getting older, it's time to take a few more steps in understanding that prayer is not magic. But prayer can radically transform who we are and shape us into being who God wants us to be. That's what I hope you come to learn as we go through the videos on this retreat, and you do this at home. Know you're doing so with God at your side. God's loving you and blessing you through this whole experience as you prepare for the sacrament of confirmation. If you have any questions or anything, please let me know. I look forward to your attendance form, seeing that you've completed everything. All right, take care, and God bless.